The International Forum for Cotton, Textiles and Accessories Ficota seeks to validate the African cotton value chain through products and services, particularly in the CEMAC region. There is no need to further highlight the potential of the cotton industry as a dynamic tool for industrial growth as experienced in other economies like China, India, America. World cotton production is estimated at 25.2 million tons in 2018, with an upward trend in subsequent years. African production represents 10% of the quantity cited. Thus, Africa's potential in cotton cultivation and the variation it produces in quantity and quality is the raison d'être of Ficota in addressing African cotton issues, particularly in the CEMAC region. Into its second edition, the first edition of Ficota took place in December 2018 in the coastal town of KRIBI in Cameroon, under the joint patronage of the Ministry of Mines, Industry and Technology and the Ministry of Commerce of Cameroon. Organized by the African Chamber of Trade and Commerce ACC in partnership with the International Organization of La Francophonie. The objective is to examine the cotton value chain by studying ways to create wealth and jobs through increased production and processing of cotton byproducts and services through the creative partnerships with local businesses. The idea is to increase locally processed quantities. The OEF has adhered to the Ficota concept. It has become one of its useful platforms to validate the OEF DECEMBRE program. OEF DECEMBRE program is simply densification and diversification of cotton, textile and clothing industries in the French-speaking zone. A program created to support actors in the cotton value chain through the North-North, North-South, South-South tripartite initiative from cotton to textiles, garments and accessories. The implementation of Ficota 2018 resolutions began during the second edition of the ACC Economic Day, which held on December 5, 2019 at the Hilton Hotel in Yaoundé.
C'est avec un réel plaisir que je m'adresse à vous ce matin à l'occasion de l'ouverture de cette deuxième édition de la journée économique de l'African Chamber of Trade and Commerce.
Further to this second edition of the AED was launched the African Fashion Incubator Project on February 5, 2021 at the Yaoundé International Handicraft Center. This incubator is a product of the ACC, whose aim is to validate the African cotton into textiles, garments, and accessories.
KRIBI accueille du 10 au 19 décembre 2021 la deuxième édition du Forum international pour la production et la transformation du coton textile et accessoires, Ficota, jumelé à la 6e édition du KRIBI Beach Fashion Week, qui est célébré sous le thème coton africain, textiles, tissus et accessoires, du champ au marché pour la richesse et la création d'emplois. Je souhaite que ce KRIBI Beach Fashion Week soit fructueux et bénéfique, je n'en doute pas, pour tous et qu'il puisse atteindre des retombées escomptées à l'issue de cet événement. Je déclare ouverte la 6e édition de la KRIBI Beach Fashion Week, 2e édition du Forum international pour la production et la transformation du coton.
Welcome to the KRIBI Beach Fashion Week. Welcome to Ficota in its 2nd edition and in its 3rd edition. Permit me to welcome the Mayor of the city, the Prefect of the KRIBI, his assistants, the representative of the Minister of Women's Affairs, the representative of the Minister of Tourism, the representative of the Director General of the Agency for Small and Medium Size in Cameroon, and especially the international delegates. The message of Ficota speaks to the youth, and that is why I'm very happy to thank the Minister of Women's Affairs who understood the message and accepted to be the champion and marraine because she's been following us for 5 years. That is why I can't stop thanking the mayor of the urban city of KRIBI for believing in us and accepting that we'll be here today. For Ficota and for ACC, we don't count numbers. We count the purpose. It's not because we have 10,000 people crowded in a common venue that we can birth the results that we see. We want experts and committed people. That is why we have here today all these experts that we have brought, so that we brainstorm together. It is about thinking together and finding the solution for our African cotton and for our African fashion industry. We cannot continue to produce cotton in Africa, struggle to package it through our waters, send overseas, transform, and then we pay taxes for it and for us to wear. We say we cannot continue to see many children in Africa still going about naked because they cannot afford. Whereas if we dwell on our resources, transform them locally in a much more competitive manner, we are able to dress ourselves and be a dignified people. So that is why we are here today. I didn't want to do a protocol speech, a speech that is talking about so many things that are very technical, because the technical experts have been working and they will come up with the resolutions that would give the way forward as to what next steps we must go. Because the first edition guided us on creating the African Fashion Incubator, the AFP. You will be watching on the stands and you see what the African Fashion Project has been able to do since January 2021. We are focused on purpose and results. We are not focused on meeting and dividing for no results. That's why we're here. And that's why we have Mali who trains. That's why we have Egypt who develops the cotton value chain. And Mr. Hisham was able to show us a t-shirt, 100% cotton, yesterday during the workshop. That shows how cotton from the farm is transformed until you have a t-shirt. Such a beautiful t-shirt coming from Africa. So this is the purpose of why we're here. We want to talk to ourselves. We want to educate ourselves. We want to see how we can become entrepreneurial through our own natural resources. Here today, I am going to hand over to Mr. Amati his certificate as the appointed chair of the African Youth Commission of the African Chamber of Trade and Commerce, that he will take with him to Ghana for the African Chamber of Trade and Commerce office in Ghana, and he will continue the mission for West Africa. En tant qu'avocat, je ne peux pas voir certaines choses et rester loin. J'ai donc pensé que les dossiers difficiles, il faut le plaider. Et parce que les faibles demandent à avoir un avocat, j'ai constaté que l'industrie du coton en Afrique a besoin d'un avocat. Je me suis constitué avocat pour plaider le développement du coton en Afrique parce que je crois que je comprends ce qui se passe. Et quand on comprend ce qui se passe, et qu'on garde ça sur soi, et qu'on ne plaide pas pour les faibles, on n'a pas fait son devoir. Je suis en mission et je ne peux pas lâcher cette mission parce que j'y crois. Alors, le coton africain doit nous dire. Le coton africain doit développer l'Afrique. Le coton africain ne peut plus continuer à traverser KRIBI sans être transformé. Le coton africain doit créer une industrie dans la zone industrielle de KRIBI ici qui emploie 2000 minimum de Camerounais pour travailler dans cette usine. Il faut qu'on adhère tous à cette mission, à cette vision. On doit former les nôtres, on doit sortir les enfants de vulnérabilité parce qu'ailleurs c'est le métier qui grandit le pays. Ce n'est pas parce qu'on a été dans une grande école de formation qu'on produit la revenu. On est celui qu'on est parce que ses mains peuvent produire quelque chose, sa tête peut produire quelque chose. On doit être autonome. Alors, avocat, j'ai plaidé à l'international, j'ai siégé à la Cour internationale d'arbitrage pendant 4 ans, j'ai travaillé avec la Chambre de commerce internationale pendant 18 ans, j'ai fondé le comité national de l'ICC au Cameroun, je ne pouvais plus rester tranquille. J'ai dit, il faut faire au-delà, parce que si tu arrêtes, je ne suis pas prétentieux, mais je me suis dit que tu possèdes certaines connaissances que certaines personnes peuvent ne pas savoir. Bouscule-toi un peu, permettre que d'autres savent ce que tu fais, afin que les autres te suivent, afin que notre développement soit réel. Je crois au développement de l'Afrique, je crois à mon pays, je suis une Camerounaise patriote et je crois que l'État joue son rôle. Et nous devons accompagner l'État pour jouer à mieux et à bien son rôle. Donc, avec la décentralisation aujourd'hui en Afrique, au Cameroun, voyons nos maires, aidons nos maires à travailler parce qu'on ne les a pas votés pour le faire chantage. On les a votés pour les accompagner. Aidez-les à travailler pour nous. C'est pour là, ce n'est que par là que notre développement va revenir. Je vous ai dit que je suis un avocat. Toutes les faiblesses que je vois, je plaide. Parce que je plaide sans honorer. Et je vous dis, je n'attends pas des honoraires. Et je vais toujours plaider. Et je dis toujours que quand le fond est bon, l'univers porte. C'est pourquoi je suis debout. Parce que mon fond, sans prétention, est bon. Et donc les vagues ici sont en train de porter mon fond. Et c'est pour ça qu'on peut être ici. Malgré toutes les difficultés que j'ai eues, mais l'univers a porté ce projet. Le projet est assis ici. On ne peut que se féliciter. Il faut qu'on s'applaudisse pour tous, pour nous-mêmes. Je voudrais donc saluer les partenaires GIZ qui a permis que ces partenaires panélistes soient ici aujourd'hui. Je voudrais saluer Orange qui a voulu en venir. Je voudrais saluer Brasserie, je voudrais saluer Zénith, je voudrais saluer tous les autres partenaires qui sont ici et les ministères qui ont permis qu'il y ait une vie à cet endroit. Parce que sans eux, on ne peut pas arriver. Je voudrais saluer Flavien Mbodi.
Recognize multiple partnership efforts with Minadere, Minwezi, Minmuza, Minprof, Minwex, Minac, IVAD, OEF, European Union, KOTON, UNESCO, UNIDO, and the ECA, chaired by His Excellency Minister Achille Basilikin III. The African Economic Day addressed the theme of useful tools and mechanisms for the improvement of entrepreneurial activities in the CEMAC region. ECA has considered a CFTA Cameroon roadmap as an important tool to improve competitiveness and access to emerging markets within the African cotton and beyond, if taken into consideration. The peculiarity of this second edition was the presence of international organizations like UNESCO, UNIDO, ICAC, Egyptian CRI.
I said also Africa as an overall represent maybe 10% of the all total plantations area, but just we are share 6% only from the all the cotton production. So we have to cooperate with each other to increase our productivity through holding and getting the new technology, because at least we are thinking to address our people from our cotton, not send the cotton for the outside and bring it again as a textile or as a dress. I'd like also to say that if we are export cotton as a raw material, is not benefit for us, because as I said, that is a value chain, and it come from the transform the cotton from all value chain is represent 1 to 10%.
And the GIZ Pro Coton, which sponsored the participation of 6 African country delegates from Central African Republic, Egypt, Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal. We also benefited from the infrastructural support of the KRIBI Urban Council, co-sponsor of Ficota, who was able to assemble participants at this important meeting attended by artisans and various actors of the cotton sector, who expressed their needs and jointly manifested their capital interest to benefit from a follow-up. In addition to the presence of these actors, this second edition was strengthened by the significant and enriching contributions of experts from Egypt, Ghana, Central African Republic, Mali, Burkina Faso, United States of America, Germany, France, Vietnam, Italy, India, to which was added the massive participation of panelists from governmental institutions and national agencies such as IRAD, SICAM, Business Upgrade Office, ANOR, APME, MINPROF, MINI, who are indispensable actors for the development and structuring of the cotton textile industry. The engagement of institutional partners, the ministries and the state entities who took part in this forum demonstrate a genuine determination to achieve better prospects in the African cotton industry, with KRIBI as the hub for the development and transformation of African cotton into clothing and accessories.
So basically, while we are making sure that everybody gets their badges, we also might have to reverse the plan a little bit because SICAM has a presentation to make and it looks like his presentation was supposed to be later. But since he's here and he has to leave, we might have to start with that.
Well, good day and welcome to the Ficota 2021 in KRIBI, Cameroon. Ficota is a conference and an exhibition for a better Africa by finding ways to improve the processing of cotton and from seeding to the finished products.
So welcome everyone. My name is Damien Duchamp. I am a professor of tourism and hospitality in New York. J'ai passé plusieurs années à New York et mon discipline, what I want to share is about creating a fashion ecosystem, which involves education, tourism, obviously fashion. Okay, so fashion, education, tourism. The idea here is that when you put everything together, tourism, fashion, and education, you create an ecosystem that everything feeds everything. Tout nourrit tout.
So today I'm going to talk to you about the German Supply Chain Due Diligence Act, which has been passed a couple of months ago by the German government. And specifically, I would like to focus on what the requirements of the Act are for buying companies headquartered in Germany and discuss the implications for suppliers that are located around the world and including, of course, in Africa.
Welcome everybody participating in KRIBI or online. Unfortunately, the new COVID peak in Germany and the new Omicron variant made it irresponsible for me to travel to Cameroon even for this big event. But I had the luck to be in the beautiful country of Cameroon and the city of KRIBI with its nice beach in October. So a chance to imagine what kind of perfect event the Ficota will become. First of all, I want to thank all the supporters that make the Ficota happen. The mayor of KRIBI already hosted the press conference for the announcement of the Ficota. Madam Onambele Anchang, the president of the ACC, the African Chamber of Trade and Commerce, worked for over a year to make this event happen. But there are also a lot of others.
Over the last 15 years, I was working for the Flisco Group. I think most of you may know it, wax hollandais. So Flisco produced in the Netherlands wax prints like what I'm wearing. Also Uniwax in Ivory Coast, GTP in Ghana, Woodin. I had considerable experience purchasing the grey cloth that they needed for their products. I've also been very much involved in, I was also director for sourcing and CSR. The CSR part of it, corporate social responsibility, took me all the way to the cotton fields of Nigeria and Benin, looking at very small scale farms and trying to work out how we could better use the cotton that is produced locally in the products we were producing.
La SICAM, notamment, ça veut dire cotonnier industriel du Cameroun. Vous comprenez donc que dans industriel, nous avons un volet industriel et nous avons un volet commercial. Donc, SICAM a été créé en 1965. La mission de SICAM, c'est de transformer le coton camerounais, exclusivement camerounais, qui est un coton de bonne qualité, pour le transformer en fil. Le fil que nous vendons à des artisans. Nous fabriquons également dans les tissus. Et ces tissus sont imprimés pour les pains que vous connaissez et même les serviettes.
I am so happy about this whole organization for the fact that the organizers have really considered the youth in this very important discussion. All that we are doing, or discussions that we are doing today, trust me, if we don't consider the youth, we may always come here annually to have this conference and go, and things will still remain the same. The right people who can make the change are the young ones. Definitely we are going to grow, or we are going to leave them behind. The question is that if you are into textiles today, how do you leave things behind, or who take over? If you are into cotton production right from the farm, a child or someone needs to grow and take over from there. So I have a simple mission here. My topic here is youth entrepreneurship. Youth entrepreneurship, and it is very simple. When we look at the larger population, youth are over 70% in every country. The youth population are more than that of the adults or the matured ones.
L'état des lieux donc de la transformation du coton au Mali. Ensuite, je vais vous parler plus spécifiquement du Centre de recherche et de formation pour l'industrie textile, Cerfitex. Qu'est-ce que le Cerfitex fait comme mission? Qu'est-ce que le Cerfitex a fait depuis près de 30 ans dans le domaine de la filière coton textile? Et qu'est-ce que depuis quelques années le Cerfitex est en train de faire en matière d'activité et puis d'accompagnement pour la filière coton textile? Enfin, quelques conclusions. Alors, en parlant des raisons objectives, alors on ne peut pas les dissocier de la démographie, vraiment. Donc là, vous ne voyez pas très bien, mais je vais vous dire les chiffres. En 2017, il y avait 1,3 milliard de consommateurs en Afrique. Donc ça veut dire que c'est 17%, c'était 17% de la population mondiale. Selon les projections, en 2050, on devrait être aux alentours de 2,5 milliards. Donc on fait un bond, on part de 1,3 à 2,5 milliards.
So the concept here is creating a tourism ecosystem in the sense that fashion ecosystem, sorry, related to trade, education, and tourism. So I see these three areas as being different parts of the equation so that we can achieve as much as possible by bringing people in from different parts of the world, different industries, different priorities, different organizations, etc., different resources, which I think is a big part of it. So part of the theme for this conference is wealth creation and employment. And if you think singularly only about the smaller area in terms of fashion, you may be limited. And that's why I wanted to talk about some other areas that can impact it. So I look at this idea of an ecosystem, and these are the different elements. You have wealth creation, you have fashion exchanges, you have competition, you have tourism, you have investment, and you have education, of course. So let's talk about education first. Part of the process, and I know Joseph was being asked about, you know, who are we talking about when we're talking about the youth? Est-ce qu'ils sont si petits ou ils sont très très grands? Si on est des étudiants, on veut être éduqué à tout âge. Moi, j'apprends, même à mon âge, dans les 40 ans, et c'est tous les jours, c'est quelque chose que j'apprécie ce qu'il y a autour de moi, et je trouve de nouvelles idées. So, you don't have to be a certain age to be a student. Younger, it's nice to plant the seeds when you're younger. And so when I think of fashion, You know, how young are they starting to think about design and textiles and the pieces that go into what fashion is?
We are very glad
So I will give some information first of all about my institute, and after that I will speak about the presentation. Maybe some other will speak about the cotton sector in Africa, but I will handle it from the other point at least and explain. I'm working in Cotton Research Institute. It's building 120 years ago. This is the only institute in Egypt is interested mainly about the cotton. Already we have another agriculture faculty and department. They are working on the cotton, but mainly we are have the we can say big tasks with the cotton because our interested mainly to produce the varieties, and we are produced about 100 varieties through 120 years ago. Our interest is also to produce breeder seed and foundation seed to the farmer, and we are participating with our colleague inside Egypt to draw the agriculture policy for the cotton, and identify an area and even also specify the specific varieties for the each locations, follow the varieties in the market, inside and outside. If the varieties deteriorated, we already canceling and go directly to release the other one. Work with the farmer directly for national campaigns, giving him the instructions about the new varieties. In addition, also maybe I'm forgetting, Cotton Research Institute consists of 10 departments. 5 from them working directly with the farmer, breeder department, agronomy, maintenance, physiology, department of evaluations of new varieties in different locations, and the other group working mainly with the industry, spinning mill, fiber technology department, grading, chemicals, ginning. We have about 300 researchers.
Another peculiarity observed was the presence of the cotton farmers from the northern regions of Cameroon and the African Fashion Project AFP incubator members who, in their exposition stands, actively demonstrated their savoir-faire by transforming cotton yarn into fabric and fabric into clothing. During this edition, we equally observed the massive participation of young and talented musicians, actors and dancers, equally plastic artists who performed on the Ficota stage every evening. At the end of this event, the ACC technical advisors alongside the Central Africa Republic coordinator for ACC proposed the Chamber and the KRIBI Urban Council in a bid to consolidate their partnership should together with other partners source funding to build a Ficota Convention Center in the city of KRIBI. The organizing committee of Ficota was equally solicited by the town of KRIBI to return and organize a third edition in due time. This heartily demonstrated the interest of the seaside town to be included not only in the second edition of the International Forum for Cotton, Textiles and Accessories, but also to take part in the long-term effort to develop the African cotton industry. On the sidelines of Ficota was organized the KRIBI Beach Fashion Week Festival, marked by a daily evening fashion parade. This festival provides visibility and opportunities for fashion designers to showcase their talents during the catwalks of models. KBF Week ends with a contest where models and fashion designers display their talent before a jury and the crowd, at the end of which the best top model, photo model, and best fashion designers are voted. Our best top model at this second edition was Leia Kofani, our best photo model Amanda Therese, and our best fashion designer was Nicole Ngongos from Joan Design. In short, Ficota KBF Week 2021 is a space for exchange, sharing, promotion and networking between artisans, researchers, designers, entrepreneurs, investors, development partners, government and private companies. The creation of a public-private partnership is therefore essential to boost the economy of Cameroon, in particular, and Africa at large.
Zendoti matumba mese mafarafina mananginoye bareyese dotina bunya bumendepo Afrika yese